Hello, I'm here to talk to you about the concept or an idea I have, which is called the auditory sketch. I work as a composer in contemporary music, which means that I create compositions, sound collage in electronic music. And one of these pieces you see here is called Vessel, is based on a part of the city Zaltbommel, which is in the middle of the Netherlands, where you can stand on a dike and look extremely far. And you see ships coming in from right to left, left to right. And what I do, I make recordings of ships, vessels, and boats. So I use two microphones standing there, recording this typical Dutch landscape. Besides creating compositions, electronic music, I also create sound installations. In this, for instance, there's a difference between music and a sound installation. Sound art or a sound installation is an environment you can walk into. And there, for me, it means that it's not only an experience for your ears, but it's also a physical experience. And in this case, you see an image of somebody listening, but he also senses the sound through the material, through the wood. And how does this work? I use, in this instance, a machine which is called a transducer, and this transducer puts the energy in the plate, a wooden plate, so you can really feel the sound coming in. So for me, sound has become this main focus in my research, where people can experience, can enjoy, sit on, or experience as a spatial event. And this is part of my research at the KU Leuven and St. Lucas Ghent, the Art Academy. It's called audio topography, on the integration of sound art and architecture. So it's not only about experience sounds through the ears, but it has a spatial integration or a spatial setup. In this research, there were many questions how to do this. So we have the normal cinema experience, like how to create a virtual space. So how do you create a sound image? What is a sound image? Is sound visual? Or how can I sense a space, specifically this space? I'm using my voice to create a sound in this space. So many questions on how to create this 3D environment. And from these questions, I got to three main essential questions. So the first, how do we experience a space with sound? You can shout in a space or clap your hands, but it's also interesting to put many sources of sound and make this sound as a volume or as a cloud you can walk into. But to understand what sound is, I started to research, and I was a little bit shocked because many different views are there on sound. Some people say it's something physical, like a wave happening outside. Some people say it's something happening in your minds. Other people say it's in between. And where is a sound? Is it here with my mouth, or is it in your minds? Or is it out there, or is it in between? And how to build this environment, how you can create this auditive space. Well, one of the ideas was to start from composition theory based on visual worlds. So if you are in the visual world, you get a composition theory from Kandinsky, which is, for example, Punkt, Linie zu Fläche, which means point, line to plane. So if you want to build this sense of space or a spatial object, you start with a point, you have a line, you have a plane. So my idea was to use this also in the auditory world, in the sonic world. So the idea was to have this auditory or sonic example of a point, a line, which can become a plane. But the problem with sound is time. Things happen in time. And because of this, I decided to have two sonic spaces or auditive spaces. One was static. For example, you can experience an air conditioner. You walk in, you walk out. It's constant. It's never changing. Or you can experience something dynamic, which can be a road with cars passing by. There is sort of a timing. So you have these different senses of auditive space. But the point is that there is a problem if you make the same conclusion there. It is not possible, because space is in the essence present in sound. You have no sound if there is no space. In the movie Alien, people say in space nobody can hear you scream. There is no atmosphere, so there is no sound. And also, when they ask me to do this talk, most of the people will ask me, play some of your music, or show some of the installations you make. But the problem with showing an installation or playing my music, it's only an impression you get. You don't get the spatial reference, particularly the people who are watching online. So recording is only impression, and it's a way to use as a handy tool. And one of the things you can do is record a space. But for me, I came up with something else. It started with the project Shifting Grounds. This was in collaboration with Hans de Meulenaar, a visual artist. We were supposed to make a piece of art in this tower, which is in Kortrijk. But the problem was the talking about the sound aspect. Because when I show a recording of a space to somebody, people were like, I have no idea, it sounds really crap, and it's like an air conditioning. But if I make a drawing of the situation, like this drawing, people could understand this location. They could understand how things would work, that it would sound be turning around, or sound projected in the sky, or sound would be below. So a drawing was more effective. So the concept of the auditory sketch is you don't use always recordings to explain your ideas on sound. You use drawings or text. In this instance, I use text to explain what is sonically happening, which is somehow more effective than just giving somebody a CD or an MP3. So the essence of sound, a sound is a recording, is only impression of a spatial event. It's extremely difficult to give people a very sonic location or integration of or a good impression of something which is happening sonically. And the recording is not always accurate. We think it's accurate because we think we record it, but the recording usually only gives a 2D dimension. You have no more location, no more sound around you. And I think this idea of using drawings and text to evoke auditory event is more important. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you think the shape of this building would be nice for an auditory sketch?
I think so, because it's a perfect round circle. So you have these interesting projections straight ahead, and sometimes can experience people talking in different places, so you don't have to use your voice very loud. I think so.
We will remember it for the next TEDxGhent. Thank you very much, Esther Venrooy.